Hi guys, this is Sarah James from Jessie James Beads, and I have a really fun and easy jewelry making project for you. The star of this bracelet project is the Jessie James Beads 7-inch strand and Beadalon 7-strand wire, both of which can be found at Walmart. You're also going to need crimp tubes, a jump ring, lobster clasp, and 2 tools, the crimper tool and the cutter. The cool thing about Jessie James strands is that you're getting a wide variety of beads on one piece of string. So instead of having to go and search and find all these different beads and get a whole bunch of different styles to create one bracelet, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to 10 different styles of beads all on one beautiful string, and they match. For the wire, we are using Beadalon 7-strand wire. This is a really excellent choice if you're beading on a budget and want something that's a little bit higher quality. The wire is very durable, and it also has a nice flex to it. It's going to be able to hold the weight of the beads and also flex while it's on your wrist. All right, we're ready to get into it. So what you want to do is get yourself some wire off of your Beadalon spool. We're not going to cut the wire just yet. Get yourself a nice stretch to work with, and then you're going to take this plastic C-clip and put it back on the spool so that the spool can act as your stopper. Next, you want to take your cutter and clip the end of the wire that the beads were strung on. Leave the beads on the wire. You just want to clip the end off so that you're able to string the beads from the wire that they were originally strung on onto your bracelet wire. So I'm taking my beads and stringing them from the Jessie James strand onto my Beadalon bracelet wire. And I really enjoy the pattern that the beads are in as they are. After the beads are strung, you want to make sure that the bracelet is going to be the right length to fit your wrist. So carefully lift the wire up and around and just place the bead strand over your wrist to see if it's the right length. Now we are going to crimp our lobster clasp onto our bracelet. So take your crimp tube, slide the end of your wire into the crimp tube, then slide your lobster clasp on, and then stick the tail end of your wire back into the crimp tube and into the first 2 beads on your strand. We're sticking the end of the wire into the first 2 beads on our bracelet because that's what's going to hide that tail end of the wire away when our bracelet's finished and we're wearing it on our wrist. So the crimper tool has got 2 different divots in it, and that is how we are going to crimp this bead. What you want to do is make sure that your wires are separated inside the crimp tube. This is a very important step because the first step of the crimp tube is going to actually separate those 2 wires inside the metal crimping tube. You want to put the crimp tube in the first divot on the tool. That's the divot that's closest to you, and then pinch down. And we literally separate the 2 wires into the metal piece. Next, you're going to turn that crimp tube over onto its side and squish down. This is going to make a nice cylinder and a perfect crimp. Now side 1 of our bracelet is secure. Yay! All right, step 2 of the crimping process. Our bracelet is almost done. What you want to do now is take your cutter tool and release the bracelet from the spool of wire. I like to leave myself about 2 inches. That's going to give you enough room to be able to do the whole crimping process on this side. Next, string your crimp tube onto the end. And now, just like the first side, string the wire back through the crimp tube and through the first bead on your bracelet. Now this is the part you're going to really want to make sure you pull that wire nice and snug. You want there to be a little bit of wiggle room, but not so much that there's going to be extra wire sticking out at the end. So, again, make sure your wires are separated within the crimp tube. Squeeze down in the first divot, separating those 2 wires. Then, turn the crimp bead over and give it a good squish. So we just strung up a gorgeous bracelet using a Jessie James bead strand and Beadalon 7-strand wire, both of which can be found at your local Walmart store. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to learn how to make jewelry with Jesse James Beads and Beadalon. We had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. Until next time.